childhood memories never fade, like blowing bubbles with the soapy hands, watching them float and pop in the sunlight. Join me as we turn that playful joy into the sparkling keepsakes forever captured in the moment of resin magic. Hello my friends, welcome back to my resin tutorial channel LisinCult. I'm Lida and today we are diving into some things I promise you. The secret behind the bubble technique using UV resin. I will show you 2 easy methods to create eye-catching bubbly magic, and at the end we will compare the results to help you decide which one is easier for you. Let's get started. Let me quickly explain what UV resin is. It's a one-part resin that cures with UV light. No mixing, no long waiting time. Just pour it, shape it, and cure it in minutes. And today, we are about to have a wonderful little adventure with it. It's gonna be a lot of fun, so stay with me. For making it easy for you, I'm going to break this technique into simple phases. Making the bubbles, finish it off. Phase 1. Making bubbles. Remember, blowing bubbles as a kid, just a straw, some soap, and endless fun. Today we are bringing that same childhood joy into our art. Only this time we are using it to create something magical with resin. For this part, we have 3 steps: pouring UV resin, making bubbles, and cure it partially. Something is about 5 or 10 seconds is enough. First, make sure your mold is clean, then pour a thin layer of UV resin into the mold, just enough to coat the base. With a silicone brush, you can help it to reach to the edges. Okay, I think it's enough. And if there are some trapped bubbles, with the dotting tools, you can remove them. Now make your bubbles and then scoop and place them on the top of your resin. And immediately use your UV light to cure them partially. I told you for some things about 5 or 10 seconds. Okay. Wow, look at the bubbles that the UV resin has captured. There are 2 magic tips. Timing is the key here. Bubbles pop fast, so you have to act quickly. As soon as you transfer the bubbles into the mold, use your UV light to lock that texture in. And the second point, don't fully cure it or the powder won't stick. We just want it to set enough to hold the shape, but still a little tacky on the surface so the pigment has something to grip into. I'm going to repeat the same step for the rest of the mold. As you saw, I covered each coaster because I didn't want them to be under the UV lights and cure properly. Okay, phase 1 is completed. Now it's time for phase 2. Let's start it. Phase 2, finish it off. We have 4 steps: applying powders, fully cure UV resin, pour epoxy, and let it cure. Simple as that. Actually, phase 2 is where the magic really happens. We have to apply the powders. I'm going to use the chameleon flakes for this technique. Check your mold. If there is any leftover moisture, gently dry it with the tissue to be sure that it's not wet. And as you can see, still it's tacky and very perfect for applying and grab the powders. I'm going to use some tissue under my mold because when I'm using the powders, it's going to make a mess around. Okay, I'm going to use my chameleon flakes. Look at it, it's beautiful. Try to use a soft brush to apply it on the surface of tacky UV resin to highlight all those bubble textures. And you can use it like this. But before use, let me cover other molds because I don't want this pigment to move to the next section. You can use some parts of tissue like this and try to apply it in a circular motion and make sure every part is nicely covered. When you finish it, don't forget to brush off any extra powder so it doesn't mess up your final layer. I'm just gonna do the same thing for the rest of the molds. When applying the powders finished, you can use your UV light to cure the UV resin completely. Okay, after that, I will pour a layer of epoxy resin on top, nice and evenly. Let's clean this mess and finish the work. Okay, now we are ready to go through the last part of phase 2, pouring epoxy resin. I have already mixed my resin. It's a middle viscosity with 2:1 ratio and with a bit of black pigment paste. As you can see, pigment paste is going to give you a full coverage. If you are interested about different colorants that we use in resin art, there is another tutorial for you. I put the link in the description box. You can go and check it. We are going to pour a nice layer over each mold and cover all parts completely. Let's do it. All right, now that the epoxy resin is poured, we have just checked it if there is any bubble. You can torch it and get rid of them. And you can cover your pieces and it's time to play the waiting game. Yep, something's about 48 hours of patience. But trust me, it's totally worth it. See you then for the big reveal. Okay, the first method is done. Let's roll into the second and keep the fun going. The second method is quite similar but with a small twist. This time we are reversing the pouring sequence. We will start with the black epoxy resin as a base, create the bubbles using UV resin, and finish with the clear epoxy top. To save time, I have already poured a thin layer of black epoxy resin. Now let's jump in and finish it. Okay, it's done. Bubbles are ready to be covered with powders. Okay, my friends, it's done. Just be sure that all parts of your bubbles are covered with the pigments and then remove the extra powders from the surface of your bubble. Then we can finish our work. We just need to cover everything with the thin layer of clear epoxy resin. But before that, let me clean this powder explosion. I have already prepared my mixture. It's a resin with 2:1 ratio, and I think now it's ready to pour. We just need to cover everything with the thin layer of clear epoxy resin. Just make sure it fully covers the UV resin so you end up with an even flat surface. Okay, this one is going straight to the waiting list of demolding. Give it the last touch and cover it. When both pieces are cured, we can compare the results. If you have fun so far, don't forget to hit the like button because the best part is just ahead. See you at demolding time. Hello again. It's demolding time. Let's find out what 24 hours of patience gives us. Okay, both pieces are out of the molds and looking amazing. This set is made with technique number 1 and this set is made with second technique. But let's have a closer look. This is made with the first method. Wow, just look at this one. It's so shiny and has such a stunning effect. Since the UV resin was poured first and the black layer ended on the top, we are actually seeing the bubbles from the back, like peeping through a window from behind. And it's got this super dreamy vibe. Look at another color. And this one. So nice. And the second one, oh my God, this one looks almost otherworldly. Like it came straight out of a galaxy far away, right? In this method, the clear epoxy is on top, so we get a front-facing view of bubbles, like staring straight into a sparkling, bubbly universe. Now, let's talk about the real-life stuff, things that no one usually tells you. Each method has its own challenge. For the first method, sometimes the surface might feel tacky and come out a bit uneven after the molding. Yeah, it's happened to me when I was making this set, and after a lot of trial and error, I realized that there are several possible causes. This problem happens when you use low quality of UV resin, or weak UV light that doesn't fully cure the layer, or pouring the UV resin too thick, which prevents it from curing properly, or making it too thin, which causes it to shrink and lets soapy water slipping underneath the resin. And sometimes the pigment that you use block the UV light in certain spots. And of course, temperature and humidity messing with the process. But don't worry, it's totally fixable. Just rub the surface with the alcohol, sand it down gently, clean it up, and give it a final top coat. That will even things out and bring back the shine. And for the second method, if you don't completely clean off the extra powder before pouring your clear epoxy, it might mix in and turn the surface cloudy instead of crystal clear. So wipe it well before the final pour. And for the back side, if it has sharp edges, you can gently smooth them out using the bearing tool, like this. Now it's okay. So both methods has their own magic, and it really depends on the look you are going for. If this tutorial brought back those carefree, bubbly chasing days and helped you learn all the key tips for this magic effect, show it some love. Hit the like button, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe for more resin magic. Got questions, suggestion, recommendation, or a technique you want me to try next? Drop them in the comments. Your idea might just inspire my next video. Thank you for watching and have a wonderful, creative day.